We are live! Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Show Must Go On live. Today's guest is Devin Ilaw. How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's so good to see you. I mean, I saw you for the past 5 minutes, but it's really good to see you now live.
Live. Yes, the feelings are very mutual indeed. Hi, Slimbo. We're going to hear a little dog chewing today. It's fine. We're in quarantine. Life is life.
You know what? It's good to make sure that you have lots of saliva, to make sure that you are not dry. You know, he is actually just a reminder to me to make sure I am hydrated, that I am drinking lots of water. So we actually thank Slimbo for all his like little bit of slobbering.
Yes, it is perfect. Stay hydrated. I'm going to raise a glass to that. And so tell it, before we jump into all of your backstory and everything, how have you been? It's been a crazy couple months, and the last time we spoke was pre-election. So it's kind of interesting to get this pre and now post. I mean, if we can even say post.
I don't know if I'm going to give the answer you want to hear, but I'm going to give you an honest answer. I right now am pretty darn great. But I also just finished working out maybe half an hour ago. So I still have endorphins pumping through my body. But the reality is that, I'm ups and downs, and I'm just want to make sure that everybody knows that is okay. And that anyone that is on their down it's okay. And anyone that's on their up, like me right now, it's okay to be not shame yourself for being on an up when other people are on a down. So I'm ups and downs and just trying to, find balance, which is not easy at this time, but that's how I actually am.
Thank you for that honest answer. It's actually really refreshing. I mean, a lot of people in these conversations do that, but it's easy when you're looking at social media all day and you see someone who looks really happy or is looking really down, and you're like, that's totally cool to have them both, and we all have them both, and it's unrealistic to think that we don't have them both. And
speaking of a down from the last time I saw you,
yeah.
I mean, I was such on a fired up when we spoke last, when I sang last with you, and honestly, that kind of went downhill after the election as opposed to going uphill.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Yes, I can be, and I just want to be honest about it. Yeah, can continue. This is kind of crazy. So I was on a run, and I just so happened on last Saturday, not this past Saturday, Saturday before it, to go on a longer run than I usually go at a different time than I usually go. And I was just let me shake it up. Let me go in a different direction. Let me go wherever. And then suddenly, as I was running down Broadway, of course, around maybe Columbus Circle-ish, everyone starts screaming, and people are honking, and I'm literally what is happening? And it was that beautiful day on Saturday, and then I just happened to be passing, like I said, around the Trump Tower, Columbus Circle, and everyone's taking selfies, or taking a picture of them giving the finger or cursing at Trump Tower, and I suddenly was like, oh my God, we won. Oh my God, we won. But I didn't want to stop, because if I stopped, my legs would probably start cramping. So I was like, I'm going to run home and check the news, but I think we won. So then I got home, and then I found out official results, electoral count and whatnot. And I thought I would be overcome with joy. And I was actually filled more with unease and uncertainty, because immediately I was like, these results are pretty close in a lot of states, and he's going to put up a huge fight. And I immediately, as a person of color, went, oh my God, I never thought about this. The horrible things they're going to say about Kamala. Racists and people who are against the Democrats are just going to say things. And I was immediately really kind of scared. And so I went in this weird, okay, that was only one component of it. Just getting the numbers and just getting that little bit of rejoicing. That's but the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. Everything has been unearthed during this entire process. Now the work and the healing begins, and all the stuff that we can start to step forward in, but it just seems daunting. And so that actually got scary to me, and that kind of brought me to a down afterwards. So that has changed since last I saw you, when I was like fired up and let's do it. Let's wake up the people. Let's get to the polls. Let's protect the vote, protect the polls, all of that. Yeah, went in a different direction than I thought it was going to, honestly.
Wow. Yeah. And we were talking about Broadway for Biden. Like there's this, right? There's almost this thing when you're leading up to something that you can be like, okay, let me give all the energy I can. It's like the last 5 minutes of sports, or like right before your big note on a Broadway stage, right? It's like you're putting, I've never had to do this because I don't have that beautiful voice, but I could imagine that right before the 11 o'clock number or whatever it is, right? Is that same, like, let me just do everything. If I make it to this point, then I'll be okay. And then after that, it can either be elation, I did it, we can finish strong, or, oh, I guess I did it, but now what else is there?
Yes, exactly. It's just one, what I've been saying to like friends and stuff is like, it's just one component in the entire equation. And like, you know, we're talking like quadratic equation here. Like it's a hard one, you know what I mean? So it's daunting, but it's also exciting. And it's one of those moments where, okay, we got one component and it's like, yes, like you just hit like your one note and you feel so good. Now continue to tell the story. Now remember that there's the rest of the show left to do and to be a part of. And that's actually really can be exciting, but you've got to tune your mindset to that, right? What happens, like total change of like mindset here, but like I am brought back immediately to something you just said of like, oh my goodness, remember Andre DeShields' Tony acceptance speech, which like forever changed me, when he was just like, the moment you get to the top of one mountain is just the bottom of the next, so keep climbing. Oh my God, like that, just everything right there. And this is that same experience, the same moment that we are at the top of one mountain and the bottom of the next. Just keep climbing. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel, and I also really like the fact that we're saying that if you celebrated that day and you felt like you could take a deep breath for the first time in 4 years, then amazing.
I'm so happy for you. I wish I was there with you.
Yeah. I feel like you'll appreciate this. I had this bottle of Pride Rosé that has been in the fridge for a while.
And we are drinking the rosé today, so yes.
I popped it and I just drank tonight. We're drinking straight from the bottle.
Good for you. Oh, amazing.
It was amazing. And I zoomed with some friends, and Slim and I were just like walking around the backyard field. And it was just like, you know, yes, we have so much work to do, but let's take a moment to just take a deep breath.
Right. And you know what's so awesome about that is that I had so many like acquaintances and friends in my life who went there and partied and lived their lives safely, socially distantly, but you know, poured themselves more than a couple drinks. And when they had like their low time afterwards, I was like, oh, I'm starting to like pull it together, and I'm starting to see where I'm at. Oh, this is why we're here, to lift each other up and be with each other and be present with each other throughout this entire experience, because this is not something you want to be going on the journey by yourself on. So it, again, that sense of balance with yourself, but with others as well, right?
Yes, I'm feeling that so much. I see my friend Dr. Drama commenting saying, love you, show. Love you. Thank you. And we earned that moment of celebration. Yes, we did.
Oh my goodness. I loved seeing like everything. I wish I was actually there. But like everything going on in Washington Square Park, man. Yes. That was a riot, and that will forever be a part of like our history, our collective history, and especially as New Yorkers. I mean, to see all of that energy and that excitement and love like pouring out from that like historic area of New York. Unbelievable.
So cool. Yeah, I just one more thing on that is, being out here, I'm in Washington State.
Yes.
Which has been amazing, and being here with Slimbo and John, and just like having this field that Slim can walk around in, and that has been amazing. But then there have been the moments where I can't be in New York at the Black Lives Matter rallies and not be there on Saturday. And it's like those little moments that history is happening that you're like, ooh, I want to be in the greatest city in the world.
Yes. But man, I was just having this conversation yesterday. But at the same time, isn't there this thing in you and about you that just like, no, I am still a New Yorker, no matter where I am. That like, there's this New Yorker heart that like we all inherently then have, which in many ways screws us whenever we're somewhere else.
Yes.
It's like, oh, people might be a little like less outward with their mouths here. I actually have to watch whatever the F I say. Like, there's like that little part of you is like, sorry, my New Yorker turned on. But that's always with you then. Then you carry it with you like at all times. And at the same time, that's the interconnectedness that we still have and feel at moments where, like you said, like you're separated from us, but we're still actually together. You know what I mean? And feeling that energy even from afar.
So true. You're bringing up so many great points. And it's funny. I feel like in the matter of transparency, like you were saying before, so I've had a sty in my left eye, a sty on the inside since the day we chatted at the Cabaret on the Couch rehearsal. Like I woke up, had a sty, and was like, of course. And like luckily it kind of like eased down, so I didn't have to wear my sunglasses. Like I was gonna look so cool just wearing sunglasses on this video call. But like it came back, and I'm like, this is so ridiculous not being able to like wear eye makeup. And then I'm like, girl, you're fine. It's all good. And like people are dealing with stress in different ways, and like clearly I deal with it in this like physical anxiety and like sty eye. Hey, Slim. He is Slim. He is come here, bud. He's tearing up. He loves to tear up tissues. I don't know why.
Well, maybe that's his expression of dealing with his anxiety. So
yeah, we all gotta deal with it. Please be safe, bud. Come here, bud. Oh, good boy. Good boy. And just like the Slim of it all, doing live interviews and also being like, I'm going to take care of a dog. And he's...
Yes.
One
thing that's kind of cool about like what we're doing, like what you're doing right now, what we collectively are doing right now, what we are allowing our audiences and our people into right now is that with the exception of those really special and unique shows, on Broadway, let's keep it in the theater world right now, in the theater, off Broadway, regionally, where you're like, oh, that time where this broke, or that legendary performance of Urinetown where the soundboard blew up and the cast finished it without mics, and they just asked everyone to be super quiet and the orchestra played super quiet. That's an unforgettable once in a lifetime moment, right? Yeah. That's when you go, that's live theater. I wish I was there. What we're letting you in right now to is the theater of our actual lives, where we're putting on a show for you now because there are no theaters to be actually physically present in. And you get to see stuff that you wouldn't see, like the idea of a backstage, the idea of, I have a light like right here just so that I look a little better for all of you. This is like, you have a dog there, and we're allowing you, like, Broadway people and other actors and performers are allowing you into their very like private spaces and letting you have real moments of us, and seeing that stuff, that shiz, like really affects our work as well. It's all a part of just going with it. And that's really exciting, I think. I think that's so super exciting in a way that you notice more, and we as actors, but you as audience members can also really appreciate, right? Because that's the stuff you just probably wouldn't see on the Broadway. A random dog just come up and have a moment with tissues. But you get to see it like right now. And I wasn't singing it, but it could have happened while I was singing, and then it would have been a moment,
Yeah. You are giving me so many feels right now because that's so true. The backstage of it all is like my favorite thing. Hearing how these little moments happen or something happened on stage and someone said someone else's line and then they figure out how to make it work. And that's, I love live theater for all of those moments. So let's take a moment and start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. And what got you into live theater? What got you wanting to sing and act and all of that?
I'm going to tell you what got me into it, and I'm going to tell you what I've been told other people observed. I was always I was a musician. I played piano. I took piano lessons. I competed as a classical pianist. I played the violin as well. And I honestly don't remember what got me into it, but somewhere along the way, I got into Broadway. Somewhere along the way. And I'm actually going to credit someone. My cousin is Steven Cuevas, who is amazing. And if you don't know him, he was one of the associate conductors, I believe, of Once in This Island on Broadway. And he conducted the most recent national tour. So that's like my cousin. And he's a year younger than me. And we just would sort of hang out. And we would hang out and we would play like Broadway stuff together. And then we would sort of sing together at the piano. He's, of course, an incredible musician, incredible singer as well, performer as well. And so that just became folded into our childhoods. And then suddenly I was into it. And then suddenly I started performing. And then happy happenstance, my piano teacher started suggesting that I would get to the next level as a pianist if I started taking voice lessons, because then I would properly understand how melodies work in classical music. So that would send me to the next level. And, you know, me being a little bit decisive and a lot of bit thoughtful at the time was like, I think I want this. But I think I was kind of hiding from myself that that's what I really wanted. And then with that, I just started auditioning for theater and then started doing the musicals in high school and the plays in high school. And I remember telling my parents my senior year that I think I was going to major in theater. And my mom was like, what? But what about all the piano lessons? Sorry, Mom. So it was like a shocker that I wasn't going into music. But I was like, but it actually still is music. And she was like, but it's not piano. We spent all this money on piano lessons. I was like, you spent all this money on voice lessons too. So I just kind of like went into it. And that's how I got into theater. Now, if you talk to my relatives, they would tell you like, well, you were a performer like as a child. You were dramatic as a child. You were creating things and being, you know, a character at all times as a child and as a young thing. And so because of that, we just kind of, there it was. Duh, makes sense. But unbeknownst to me, you know? And so, or rather, you know, I knew it. I must have known it deep down. And I think as a pianist too, I'm a good musician, but I feel like I'm a far better storyteller. And that it was the fact that I found ways in music to tell stories. And then when you actually get to spoken word, when you get to singing a lyric and you go, oh, that's that next step that I didn't have when I was playing just playing the piano. So it was this added level of storytelling. And so it then becomes reflexive. When I was a musician, I loved adding storylines and narratives. When I was an actor, I would find ways to tell the story just by musical phrasing. To me, that became a language that, you know, is my little, like, I don't know, special skill or what I love to do with my creativity within the material. So that's how I got into it.
I love that story so much because it really shows the journey that sometimes there's this one aspect, whether it's playing the piano and wanting to get better at that then introduces you to this other thing, or there's a person, or there's a specific song or a musical that inspires you. But you have this gift. I've been watching so many of your videos. It is such a treat. It really
the fear first.
No, oh my goodness. It's like the range and the storytelling, and whether it's we've been talking about Jamie Malitz's musical The Valley, and
yes.
love, love, love. And just all of the different things. And then the Les Mis of it all from you performing in it. And then I don't remember where it was, maybe 54 Below or Green Room 42 where you did On My Own.
Yes, that was actually at the Laurie Beachman.
Ooh, the Beachman.
I know, like that beautiful, sometimes kind of forgotten gem that's like been a part of, like, you're like a New York City actor when you've like sung at the Beachman. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was so good. If anyone hasn't seen that, they need to, you can just like type in Devin Ilaw on YouTube and it's like one of the first 5 videos. Please do yourself a favor after this interview and go listen to that.
Okay, let's tell a story since you just brought it up. That's how I taught myself how to have vibrato. When I was... Oh, screw it. When I was in high school and just starting to get into like singing in Broadway. And this is like a really big, this is why it all matters, I think. Lea Salonga as Eponine, the idea of representation, there was a reason why so many of us thought that we could have a place in this business and in this industry and telling these kinds of stories when we see ourselves, people that look like us doing them. And I always loved Les Mis. And then when that 10th anniversary concert came out at Royal Albert Hall and Lea was Eponine, obsessed, shocking that there's like an Asian girl in like Les Mis in France and that she was like good. So I would like sit in my basement and like wrap myself in a comforter, put a hat on, and sing along to Lea Salonga's On My Own and try to match her vibrato. Wow. So I would be like in my basement going, pretending, like me adding jaw tension and everything, trying to get vibrato. But that's how I like taught myself how to sing, was like imitating Lea and trying to be like, well, what is she doing? She's so good. And then like figuring it out on my own. This is all before I had a voice teacher when I really started taking myself seriously. That was like that. There was my foray in. There was my little bit of interest that got me into the arts and to feel represented, seen, and that I had a place there.
I love that so much. What a story. It is so true how representation matters in all regards. And when you see someone that looks like you, that has a similar heritage, anything like that, you automatically feel this like, oh, all right. All right.
Yeah. I got nothing more than to think, man, it's like huge, but I'm so excited to see what new writers, composers, or even actors that have never written before and suddenly feel compelled to share their voice and their story. What new stories are going to come out that we haven't heard yet? You know, I love to say it, but out of the Dark Ages came the Renaissance. So hopefully out of this time that we have had, that beautiful new stories and new narratives are going to emerge from new artists, as well as artists who are already established that feel inspired to write actually new things or change the way in which they approach their art. Like we're going to have like all this new stuff and loads of new ways and in ways that people can see themselves represented in art. You know what I mean? It's going to change everything. I'm excited.
I'm so excited. Yeah, it's maybe like the one good thing of social media is getting to see the process and seeing like people be able to share their work and be like, ooh, I cannot wait to see more of that.
Right. Exactly. Because we don't know. It's been a challenge, but it's also been very freeing for so many of us to be like, well, there's no like show to actually do. If there's no song to actually learn, well, what do I want to do? And artists and actors being able to ask themselves that question, what do I want to do, as opposed to what do I have to do? What do I have to audition for? What do I have to prepare? What do I want to do? What a gold mine. That's the gold mine, man. It really is. And it's frustrating. It can be frustrating when it's like, who's going to see it? Who cares? As long as you're creating and fulfilling whatever creativity and sharing whatever creativity you want to have, that's so, I think, powerful and impactful.
It really is. And I've heard friends say, like, do something that makes you feel good, and then others will feel good. And if you change one person's life or make one person's day, you've done enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would be enough.
Can I actually be like hashtag ad for like 2 seconds and talk about something? Speaking of the social media, I don't remember what it's called, so give me 1 second. But I saw something that like shook me yesterday, and I hope everybody feels that they want to check it out. Here it is. If you go to Instagram and look up at there's 2 places to find it. Adrienne, E-N-N-E, Marie, M-A-R-E-E, Brown, Adrienne Marie Brown. She has a post of this couple at the Bengsons, B-E-N-G-S-O-N-S. And it's called the Keep Going Song. Now, she posted a little while ago, and the Bengsons posted a little while ago. Basically, what they do is this couple, and I saw it for the first time last night, and it just shook me. And she has a loop machine, and she just starts singing about like keep going, and then her husband joins in, who's also playing guitar, on a harmony like keep going, and then she puts it on a loop, and then she adds another harmony, and then she creates this whole song. Like, I don't know what we're singing, but this is the song, and we're just gonna keep singing because you gotta just keep going. And it's awesome, and it goes on for like 5.5 minutes. Check it out, because that's kind of, I think, where we are all at right now, where it's like, finding Nemo, just keep swimming. Literally, just keep going, just keep singing. The song just keeps going. She keeps adding to it, and suddenly you find yourselves in a narrative, and suddenly you find them like her telling a story that we all are in right now, and it's really magical. So I'm gonna plug that, and I have no relation to it whatsoever, but go see it, because that's some Instagram art that I'm like, yes, thank you.
Thank you. I love that. And yes, promoting other people. This is fabulous. Please keep it coming. If you feel inspired later on for anything else, this is a good place to do that. Just like Slim felt inspired to sit on the couch. Am I still in focus at all?
Yes, you're totally fine. You're totally fine.
I'm like, I need to give the people what they want. And, you want to see my face, but you want this limbo. It's cool.
And he looks so comfy. He is all of us right now.
He really is. He's like, are you talking about me? We sure are, bud. So here, let me just do this. And I was thinking this could be a wonderful opportunity as we're talking about singing. Would you like to sing us a little song?
Yes. I said it's not so much a little song, is it?
No, it really isn't.
SHO and I just decided this right beforehand. I'm going to sing, I think, something that we're all feeling right now. This is Out There from Hunchback, which has always been one of my favorites. And yeah, it's kind of magical to think of us all as Quasi right now, isn't it? And think of the magic of being able to look out your window and see the baker, see the people, see everyone walking in the streets, and how magical life not necessarily used to be, but how it can be in the future, I think, right?
Yes. Thank you so much.
All righty, here we go. Do it 1 moment.
Battery 70%. Connected to DV pad.
There we go. We're turning the speaker on.
Pause for one. Oh my God.
Oh, yes.
I'm just doing this thing. There is a little smudge, and I know that would bother me during this performance, because I'm going to be clipping off this part. And I'm sorry to take you out of that sweet, sweet performer moment, but now we are back in it, and take it away.
Safe behind these windows and these parapets of stone, gazing at the people down below me. All my life I've watched them as I hide up here alone, hungry for the histories they show me. All my life I've memorized their faces, knowing them as they will never know me. All my life I've wondered how it feels to pass a day not above them, but part of them. And out there, living in the sun, give me one day out there. All I ask is one to hope forever. Out there, where they all live on, where what I'd give, what I dare, just to live one day out there. Out there among the millers and the weavers and their wives, through the roofs and gables I can see them. Every day they shout and scold and go about their lives, heedless of the gift it is to be them. If I was in their skin, I'd treasure every instant of their strolling by the sand. Taste the morning out there like ordinary men who freely walk about there just one day, and then I swear I'll be content with my share. Won't resent, won't despair, old and bent, I won't care. I'll have spent one day out there. Never sing that. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, I feel so free. Thank you for that performance.
Thank you for choosing it. I mean, like, honestly, man, I worked on that in college. I mean, I'm pretty sure every tenor or baritone does, but then you never really know if you're ever going to sing it. So that was awesome to sing it and to just like be free. Again, talk about being free and being creative. That was just for me, man, and for all of you. So it was really cool to just like let go, do what you want to do and feel what you want to feel in a song.
We appreciate that so much. And the acting of it all, that it really is more than a song, that you gave us this story. Oh, I love it.
Well, I mean, like, thank you. If you keep looking at, like, again, there's the theater of escapism as an audience member, where it's like we go to the theater to escape into it or escape into a story. The same could be said as an actor, the theater of escapism, to like put all your shiz into the work and like drive it into it. But then there's just this feeling of letting maybe the material just like live. You're not escaping anything from it. You're like making it more cohesive to like your life, our lives, you know, the collective life. Yeah, I don't know. That's where I kind of was just then.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been hearing that song in my head, especially like it's a rainy day today. So Slim and I were just looking outside, like, do we want to go? We don't really want to go. So we just like closed the door and stayed inside. And I just like longingly looked out there, and that song just really, between like that, but really the pandemic and everything else, it is such a song for the moment, and your voice beautifully captures it.
Thank you. And you said song for the moment, man. Isn't it so weird that like in drawing I'm working this out like right now, so this is like a blurb, sorry. But like that allows us song for the moment to all feel like Quasi. Mm-hmm. Like we all are so at home and so with ourselves, and all our failings, all our things that we consider to be our singular flaws, our unique flaws, things that we don't like about ourselves or really, really like about ourselves. And that's things that we shame about ourselves. I mean, this pandemic has done it to all of us.
Yes.
Right. And you recognize how quasi you actually are, how Quasimodo we all are. And that's kind of a great unifier and a beautiful thing to see. It remind us all that we are all still humans and we all still have like full emotions and full hope to go past like whatever we consider our failings, right?
Mm. Right, because if you might know your failings, you might know these things, but once you can get to the other side of that, and it takes work, and sometimes it takes therapy, and it takes leaning on
a whole freaking village.
It really does. Really, really does. And so many people here saying you're so good, and people are really happy about it. So thank you for sharing your voice and your talent with us.
Oh, thanks everyone. I hope I can see the comments sometime too. I'll have to check in the YouTube afterwards.
Yes. And what's really cool about this, just like with Cabaret on the Couch,
Right,
where we were chatting last time, is that it is live now, but it lives on forever, ever. Yes, it is. It is great. And as I mentioned just before the song, I will clip off the song portion and post that as a separate YouTube link, and I'll share it on Instagram as well, so y'all can have that moment. Yes. So let's go more into Broadway and the 25th national tour you were on. Those experiences with Les Mis and Miss Saigon. Do you have any, like, what was that like, first of all, to be on Broadway twice, to be on such a big national tour, all of those emotions?
You just said it. All of those emotions. Like, you saw me literally go, oh my God, it's like a flood, man. So where to start? Well, I already told you that I used to pretend I was Lea Salonga when I was in high school. So I mean, my audition song for colleges was Empty Chairs at Empty Tables. And so I remember it was Les Mis, a regional production at North Shore Music Theater in Beverly, Massachusetts, was my first job out of school. So I remember going, like, I was like so young, and I remember telling my agent, I just graduated college, and I was like, I want to be a Marius in Les Mis. And he was like, you're too young looking, and you're very youthful. So I kind of did my own thing, and I went to an open call, and I ended up getting it. So I did that first run, and then Les Mis was a big part of my life because I booked like 2 more regional productions, and then I got the 25th anniversary national tour in 2012, I believe, and I was like Marius, and that was literally my dream come true. And I will never forget when I joined the tour when I was in Chicago. I joined in Chicago and was learning the Marius track, and I just started like boom, 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 ba-dum, and I was sitting in the audience with the actress who was joining with me, who was joining as Fantine. We were the new Marius and the Fantine, and I was sitting there, and we just started like crying, like it started. This was going to be a part of our lives now. And then I remember my opening night. I remember the first time I forgot a costume change and like basically ran on stage in my underwear. I remember the flood of emotions. That tour was a lot of things, and it was hard to live in that place of truly Les Misérables, like misery. That was hard. You don't think about that, how it starts to actually affect you off stage as well, what you're doing on stage. And then taking like a couple years break, and then joining the Broadway production, which was such a gift, to play another character and to understudy Marius, and to look at Marius as someone who has grown up again in the show, you know, from my first production at 21 to, you know, being like late 20s by this time. So that was kind of nutso and crazy, and it was amazing. And I will never forget the closing night of the national tour, the final One Day More, and my first One Day More on Broadway, where I just kind of went, oh my God, like, what fucking did it. And like, I'm making my Broadway debut. I'm like crying now. It was amazing. It was truly amazing. And then that's just Les Mis. That's not even, being on Broadway in Miss Saigon, which was a completely different experience for its own reasons. And that was filled with its own set of like challenges, but also celebrations throughout. And again, it's that feeling of, okay, there's the top of one mountain. Here's the next. So it was amazing. It was really, really unforgettable, truly.
True classics. It's amazing that was your experience. Very light shows, very easygoing, right?
Oh my goodness. I remember once after a show, I was doing a talk back with some students. Oh, this is actually kind of bad. But I remember like someone said like, well, was it like doing this every night? I was like, well, we die every night. It was tough. That was tough. Yeah, really, really heavy, dramatic shows. But one thing I recognized, and this I think was even more evident in Saigon, also because of like what I was doing in Saigon. I look at it and I mean, I remain in semi-constant contact with Eva Noblezada, Leanna Santa Anna, my Kims. I mean, we're still like siblings. We're so close because you go through that journey together, and it's so, like you said, pretty heavy, pretty deep, and then you formulate that relationship because you recognize that those people are the people that make you feel safe on stage. Those people are like, when you're really in it, and then it's hard to sometimes come out of it, at least for us in doing these shows. Well, guess what? That's the person you also get to hug right after the scene where we try to kill each other. That's the person, during intermission we go to, and you're like, let's have some chocolate. Like, let's have a snack and let's like get out of that, So it formulates these beautiful offstage relationships that I am just so grateful for.
What do you do to combat some of those feelings when you are doing this heavy work, but you also want to like have that light in your life?
If you're Filipino and you're watching this, I'm sorry, because you know this already. And if you're not, here's a little history lesson. So my last name, Ilaw, in Tagalog, in Filipino, means light. And so literally, when I was little, my grandmother used to tell me, whenever there are dark times in your life, always remember that you are the light. So there's always light. Kasi you are the light. You're an ilaw. So it's that kind of like, it may be a little bit of an eye roll. It may be a little thing, but at times I just kind of stop and I go, you know what? My last name means light. If I feel dark or if I feel heavy, I'm light. And whether or not that's the actual truth, by definition, by my birth certificate, it kind of is the truth. And it like brings me like a little smile also, because then it's like, oh, of course grandma would say that. And of course grandma would make me feel so special. And suddenly it's like, there's the light, right? So there's that little bit of like something I carry with me at all times. And then I think, well, like I said, one thing is the people you work with, man. Like, they become your siblings. They become your aunts, your uncles, your cousins. They're your show family. So you go to them and you're just sort of like, what's going on? Like, how can we support each other? How can we be there with each other? And I think it's really important to cultivate what your offstage life is to bring you back to it. I know I'm like big into, I love to play tennis. I am pretty physically active and love to work out. And so that sort of like pumping endorphins, like brings you up and out of it.
Wow. I love that. No, that's so good. The name of it all is so great. So Shoshana means rose in Hebrew. And so I wear a lot of roses. It's that same feeling of connecting with your name.
Yes, connecting with your, okay, now I'm going to turn it somewhere else. You know how I like to like go connecting with your name and who you are. That was something that also brought me so much joy, privilege, and gratitude throughout Les Mis, was that, correct me if I'm wrong, but like over the, 30 years or so that it was on Broadway, there were two Asian Mariuses. And I just happened to be one of them. You know, there was Adam Jacobs and there was like me. And then there were times, especially on tour when I was, you know, in the role as opposed to understudying it. But like, they're like, if there was one little boy out there or one little girl out there that saw me in this role and went, oh, like a little wink, like there's someone that looks like me doing this. It makes it all worthwhile, man. And that would happen sometimes on tour where you'd meet a little Asian. Oh, I would meet a little Asian, a little Filipino person after the show, and they'd ask for my autograph and be like, it was cool seeing you in that. And you're just going to go, okay, yeah, it was cool seeing me in that. Thank you. Thank you for giving that back to me when I also got to give you something. So that makes it really special.
That connection with your community is so special. It has to, and tell me if this is true, if you know, you're doing 8 shows a week, which is also like absurd and so much energy and commitment to that. And then to be able to see that you're affecting that person and you're giving that little kid that light and knowing that they can do it, that has to give you that new energy for the next performance.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you just nailed it on the head. There's nothing more to it than that. So it's that one person that feels like they were touched by what you did. And it's that feeling that, you know, that you can really only get from theater, from live performance, because that performance, as much as you can watch it on YouTube sometimes, but that will never happen live again. We can revisit movies, we can revisit television performances, but it's not the same. It's like you saw something that literally I will never do again. I may have the same vocal whatever choices and I may make the same acting-ish choices, but it's just not the same live performance ever again. And to think that you touched one person during that's really powerful. Really powerful.
I miss live theater so much. I could only imagine how you feel.
Yeah, I feel so much, like I keep saying, like the more gratitude for having been a part of it and more excitement for being a part of it in the future. That's what I feel.
Yes, I love that. So this, you mentioned your grandma, and I love the song that you sing about her. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, on my Instagram?
Yeah, I guess it was on your Instagram. Yeah, with your brother?
Yes. That's my amazing brother, who also is a barricade boy. My brother actually was furloughed because he was the current percussionist on the Les Mis national tour in the orchestra. So we're a Les Mis family. There's this really cool thing that I plug someone else, #ad. But so a good friend of mine, Bill Coyne, used to have this concert series at 54 Below called Muse Match. Do you know Muse Match?
No, tell me all about it.
It's actually so cool. So you get asked for involvement, and then what Bill sort of does is he creatively pairs an artist with either a composer, writer, or a writing team. Ooh. And then you're told, like, well, the date of the concert is ... The theme of the concert is ... And then you, as our artist and your writing team, go on artist dates. And you get to know each other. I mean, and they can ask you, there are prompts, there are questions that they can ask, but they can also, like, ask their own questions. You just sort of become friends or friendly and get to know yourselves. And then one day, as what happened, I was paired with this wonderful composer-writer named Spencer Robelin. He texted me or emailed me and was just like, well, I finished your song. And it's called Grandma's Cooking, given what our talks were. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then we got together and we started going over it. I started telling him some things that I was like, oh, could you change this? Or I had this idea, and it becomes truly collaborative. And then that song gets to make its world premiere at 54 Below, and the artists singing them and the artists that inspired them. And it was really, really, really cool. And so Grandma's Cooking was written about me because our theme at 54 Below was love is the strongest choice. And and so he wrote a song about my grandma, who used to cook for the whole family and inspired a whole bunch of, generations of cooks. My mom is an amazing, amazing cook. My aunts are amazing cooks. But at the end of the day, grandma's always like, this is the best, the one I made. It's family. Food is family. Food is love. And we get to share that together. And my grandmother recently just turned 93. And so for her 93rd birthday, my brother and I collaborated on making a family video with all my aunts, with pictures of all my aunts, my cousins, my extended family aunts and cousins, pictures of grandma from the past, pictures of us as kids. And we gave it to her on her 93rd birthday on October 6th. It was really special. And we had been wanting to do that for a while, especially Spencer and I, the composer. And then the gift of the pandemic is time and inspiration. And so my brother and I were like, we can do this. And so he played all the instruments and did an arrangement of it. And I recorded the vocals and my brother mixed it. And then I had my ex-boyfriend make the movie. And so we collaborated on that. And so it was like collaboration, all for something really sort of personal, but ended up creating, I think, something quite beautiful.
That is such a sweet story. And when you have that personal connection, it always brings other people to their personal connections. And when I'm in New York, when I'm in Queens, I live with my grandma. So
yes, you get it.
Very much get it. And there's so many parts of the song I was like, oh, yep. And she's like, do you want more rice? I can give you more rice. And it's like,
well, SHO, here's the thing. Isn't it beautiful that, like, and we've talked about representation and differences. Isn't it kind of like awesome and beautiful that you and I could not be more different, possibly in our upbringings and our cultures and our heritages. And at the end of the day, this song that was written really just for me and my grandma and my experiences and my story completely spoke to you. That's that sense of sameness that art can bring out in all of us, that self-reflection, which is really, really awesome, right?
So special. It really is. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but my family heritage is Brazilian, Egyptian, Italian, American, Jewish, which is a lot of things. But that connecting with all these different parts of my heritage and having my grandma be able to like share these stories and hear the same stories over and over and over again. It's really amazing. And it just that song like brought me back to when she would just like have these moments and playing cards. She always plays her cards. And it's it makes me nostalgic, and I will have to call her after this. So thank you.
You're welcome. Call your family, call your chosen family. This is the time.
Yes. Now is the time to seize the day. Dun, 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 dun.
I miss that. Oh, dude, so I went to college with Cara Lindsay. She was my best friend in college, and I went to her closing performance as Catherine on Broadway, and I sat with her husband, the incredible Kevin Massey. And so Kevin and I are sitting together, literally tears streaming down our face at the end of Watch What Happens. And people are looking at us like, we're crazy. Because Newsies is going on, and Carrie just sang this incredible performance where she's like kicking in the air and like screaming, and we're sobbing, and people are like, why are they sobbing at Newsies? But it was one of my most special moments that I remember in the theater, like a moment of real pride, like of seeing like my friend like really just completing an amazing artistic journey in her life. So yeah, now it's time to seize the day.
That is so special. I love that musical so much. As a female reporter, having a female reporter icon in a musical, Newsies was my jam and still is.
Oh yeah, I mean, and there are bops. There's bops all over the place. And that, like, if you're talk about if you're having a down day, go listen to Newsies, and you will not be in a down day anymore. You will you will do a bell kick and then possibly more.
Yes, that's such a true statement. And quick note about her, I I saw her at Jeremy Jordan's like live series at 54 Below.
Yeah.
And you don't want to like go up to someone, but she was like leaving, and we were all just, at the end of 54 Below when everyone's just kind of standing around. And I was like, I need to tell her. So I went up to Kara and I said, as a female reporter growing up and seeing you on stage, it was so powerful. And her response was so sweet. She's like, thank you for being a journalist. It's so important right now. And I got so emotional, and it was such a sweet moment to be able to like chat with one of your childhood teen, heroes. I mean, I guess I was in college. When did Newsies open? In like the 2010, 2014? Yeah.
Right around then.
It was like right when I was going off to college, and it was that perfect, like, this is exactly what I needed. And I didn't know I needed it until I saw it. And it just like,
Yes.
thank goodness that I have Newsies. Ugh.
Yeah. And she's one of those that, you don't know until you actually meet her. You're like, oh, you really are kindness personified. Like the sheer amount of like, I look to people like her, and there are so many more like her is the thing, that look at what they do and they're A, truly grateful for the work. And then B, just kind of have, what's awesome is like the way in which you felt seen and represented, and the way you were like, wow, that inspired me. Guess what? That inspired her working on it. So working on these kinds of roles for us is also like, it's just as inspiring. And again, it's that sameness. And so I'm so glad you had that experience. I really am. She's the best, literally the best. They're the best.
Truly, truly. So, okay, I know we're running out of time, and I want to make sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are there any nonprofits or charities that you'd like to shout out right now?
I would love to shout out Broadway's Babies. You can go to broadwaysbabies.com. Broadway's Babies. I am the Broadway ambassador coordinator for Broadway's Babies. And I mean, our organization right now is serving over 10,000 New York City public school students. So what we do is we bring art. We believe that arts education should be accessible for all. Big, all capital letters, all, ALL. Like everyone should have the arts in their lives. And throughout this pandemic, Broadway's Babies has continued to offer their services, knowing that school is the place of safety for many New York City students. And so we're offering them online. And because of being online, we are also able to be international. So we also have schools in Haiti and India, Shanti Bhavan, and also in Haiti. And we're opening another one in the Galapagos Islands. And so now our reach is even bigger. And that's just so exciting to be able to, again, continue to instill art in the lives of kids, when I really feel that we are in a time where artistic expression is gravely necessary for us to keep moving forward in life.
Wow. That just sounds like such a great organization. I started to look them up a little bit beforehand, but now I'm really excited to like dive deeper and donate.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Check us out. I'm so proud of our organization and the people in it. The founders are Katie Fafel and Ben Houghton, and they are just the best, literally the best. So, yay.
So you've been doing a great job of promoting other people, but I want you to share, where can everyone find you and anything that you came into today really wanting to share with your fans?
Oh, goodness gracious. You can find me on Instagram, which is my only social media, at Hello There, I'm Dev. So there's where you can find me. And is there anything else I want to tell everyone else watching out there?
Out there.
So good. So good. No, I don't want to say anything. I mean, get reflective, get internal, get inside yourself, and then recognize that you can have these conversations and talk to, there's such a beautiful resource of people and loved ones around you to also find that sense of sameness and self-reflection. And during this time, this is a beautiful time for us to rediscover our humanity. I see walking throughout New York City, all these like graffiti moments, like street art moments where it's like, where people have written like, too many humans, not enough souls. And that always speaks to me whenever I see it in New York City, because to me, honestly, I think there's a first step. I think we got to remember we are humans and not robots first. And then embrace our humanity, and then embrace our souls again. And I think it's going to be really good and a great healing moment for us during this really crazy time. So that's, I guess, what I want to pass on to everybody out there.
Yes.
Out there.
So relevant.
Always.
Yes, please, everyone. This is, especially with Thanksgiving coming up, and
Yes.
chosen family, chosen friends, being safe, socially distant. Zoom dinners are just as wonderful. They really,
And you can do whatever the F you want if you're on Zoom. You don't have to be like, oh, it's good. No, you're eating what you want to eat, and it can be Domino's, and it's okay.
And you can wear your pajamas. And don't you want to wear pajamas on Thanksgiving?
I don't know what you're talking about. Same.
It's the best. Who doesn't want to wear your pajamas, like, I guess, every day now?
Yep. Business on top, party on the bottom.
So true. Quick notes here. So the show must go online. Started at the beginning of quarantine, continues throughout quarantine. So you can head to bwayshow.com. That's BWAYSHO. As you see all the way here, you can find me at bwayshow. This wonderful design by Chelsea Hill, aka Illustrating Diva. She is wonderful. Check her out if you need any illustrations. And B-Way Show, the podcast, is available on your favorite podcast places, so check it out. And finally, I see some of my Showtreons are here. That's the B-Way Show Patreon. Y'all are awesome. We do trivia and video chats and just support. And really, really cool that y'all support artists, and appreciate you so much. And on that note, I want to share my appreciation for you for coming on and singing and telling your story and just being so wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. Truly, this is such a gift to be able to do this and to connect from afar. It's awesome. Your energy is so beautiful. It was great. And I hope everybody enjoyed today. This was really fun and special for us to share with all of you.
Yes, thank you for watching. Y'all are awesome. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you at the show.
Bye.
Bye.